Anderson, thank you. Senator Rubio, thanks very much for joining us. Civilized today, no personal attacks. So what happened?
Well, first of all, I think it's credit to CNN. I mean, you ask policy questions. A lot of those attacks come from when they say so-and-so said this about you. How do you respond? So I think there's a lot of credit to CNN that goes into that, number one. I think number two, it's, I think the voters deserve that kind of debate. We haven't had a substantive debate like that in quite a while, and it's important to really dig deep on these issues. And there were contrasts tonight on that stage, but they were policy contrasts, and I thought that was a real service to the voters and the viewers that were watching.
You were blunt the other day, I think yesterday, in acknowledging that you shouldn't have gone down to that personal level in that last debate, the debate before, and you even said your kids were embarrassed.
They were, and I'll never do that again. And again, Donald deserves criticism on all the other issues regarding Trump University and all that's fair game, and that needs to be examined, and I don't back off that at all. But when it comes to some of the personal stuff, and I regret doing that very much, and I'll never do that again.
Do you think that hurt you in terms of going ahead?
But whether doesn't matter politically. I can just tell you I didn't think it was a reflection of my faith and what it teaches me and how I need to live. And it's not the kind of candidate I want to be. And more importantly, my kids and my wife were not happy about it either, and rightfully so.
What did they say to you?
They were just embarrassed by it. And
whose idea was it to do that?
I don't think it was an idea. I think it was me responding to insults that he had made. But I'm never going back into that gutter again. From now on, our campaign is going to be about what I've always wanted it to be about, and what it's been about the whole time, but for, one day, I guess.
Yeah, well, this was a really substantive, important debate on the critically most important issues, and I think all of us were pleased by that. What was the biggest issue from your perspective that makes you more qualified to be president than the three others?
Well, first of all, I think on the issue of Social Security, have you heard the question that was asked? Donald's numbers just don't add up. I mean, you can't just say, I'm going to save Social Security by going against fraud and abuse and foreign aid. The numbers aren't there. And I think if you're running for president, you're the front runner of the party, by the way, you have a real obligation an answer about that question. The Democrats will make mincemeat out of you if you don't, and of course the country deserves better. So I think that in and of itself was a very important question, and one that was answered tonight on my part that he did not. And so I thought that was a real moment I hope voters will focus in on.
You think he's qualified, Donald Trump, to be commander-in-chief?
I don't believe he is at this moment. Obviously anyone can learn and change over time, but I don't believe he's qualified to be commander-in-chief on day one. I think you saw that here tonight as well on the issues of foreign policy. He's talking about a deal with Cuba as if it was some sort of real estate deal that they're going to sue us on, or on Israel, where I don't think he realizes that his position is anti-Israel. It is my sincere and deep belief, and I know this to be true, that if we in fact pressure Israel to a negotiating table, it weakens them in the region and actually emboldens their enemies. So I thought those things tonight, I think, evidence a true lack of foreign policy understanding. And, voters should care about that a lot, because you're commander-in-chief on day one. You can always reverse domestic policies, but you make a mistake in foreign policy, the consequences are grave.
I suspect you still believe you can win in your home state of Florida on Tuesday.
We are, and I think one of the reasons why is because, for example, a growing number of voters now recognize there are people in Florida that like John Kasich and they like Ted Cruz. But I'm the only one that can beat Donald Trump in Florida. So even people watching in Florida that like Ted Cruz or John Kasich, if you vote for them in Florida, you're voting for Donald Trump. The majority of Floridians do not want Donald Trump to be our nominee. And I'm just saying, vote strategically on that. Now, we've got obviously a lot of supporters ourselves. They all have to come out and vote. But if you're a supporter of John Kasich or Ted Cruz, a vote for them in Florida is going to be, in effect, a vote for Donald Trump.
John Kasich says if he loses his home state of Ohio on Tuesday, he's out of this race. If you lose Florida next Tuesday, are you out of this race?
Well, I won't put it that way. What I'll say to you is I believe the Republican nominee needs to win Florida. I believe the winner of the Florida primary will be the Republican nominee, and I'm in this race to be the Republican nominee. So I intend to win Florida, and then we'll make decisions after that. But my intention is to win in Florida. We already have events moving forward into Utah and Arizona. We have great teams there on the ground, and we're going to win Florida. It's going to be tough. It's going to be close. It's going to be a lot of hard work. But this state, I know this state believed in me 5 years ago, and I'm asking them to believe in me again. We'll turn this country around, and they will. They will vote for me.
Senator Rubio, thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate it very much. You got a beautiful state here. Miami's a great city too.
It sure is.